From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 18th, 2021. Israel's President Reuven arrived in Paris today, the last stop on his three-city European diplomatic visit. Rivlin was greeted in an official ceremony by President Emmanuel Macron, with the two later addressing the press after a sit-down meeting, discussing a number of issues of concern, including Rivlin urging France to reject the ICC's decision to investigate Israel for alleged war crimes. Rivlin later tweeted from his remarks thanking France for its partnership and stressing that any attempt to pressure Israel through international bodies and the cynical political exploitation of international law is doomed to fail and will contribute nothing to improving relations between us and the Palestinians. Yesterday, Rivlin met with Austrian President Alexander van der Bellen in Vienna, and the two took part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Monument to Holocaust Victims in Vienna's Judenplatz, where Rivlin spoke of how the Nazis were given support by many in the country. He said Austria did not wake up one morning to the swastikas of the Third Reich. Anti-Semitism, racism, and xenophobia had been incubating for years. That, he said, is how the horrors were born out of apathy and disregard. Van der Bellen said it was our duty to oppose any resurgence of inhumanity, racism, and anti-Semitism decisively and without compromise. He said our aim today is to allow Jewish life without interference in any place, Israel, Europe, Vienna, or any other place. Nazi symbols were found at the entrance to a Jewish institution in Belarus. The Euro-Asian Jewish Congress reported on its website this week that a swastika and SS bolts were spray-painted at the entrance to the Jewish Community House in the city of Gomel, which serves as a synagogue and Jewish community headquarters there, about 200 miles southeast of the capital of Minsk. This took place apparently earlier this month. An investigation is ongoing. And in Greece, a new mural commemorating the Jews of Thessaloniki who were murdered in the Holocaust was vandalized with black paint. The World Jewish Congress shared a photo from the memorial citing the local Jewish community, saying that racism and anti-Semitism remain a serious problem and an open wound for our society. The mural, which is over 100 feet long, was created by street artist Sam84. It was unveiled at the beginning of this month. Greece, by the way, is up next to lead the rotating presidency of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance. Foreign Ministry spokesman Alexandros Papaioannou said Athens will take over the IHRA presidency on April the 1st. He said that Greece's first ever presidency of the body will focus on education. Well, with Israel's national elections fast approaching, the Central Elections Committee announced several new measures to help streamline voting in the country. Drones will be used by the committee to monitor lines at 751 special polling stations across the country that are being set up for those who are sick and quarantined with the coronavirus. And if the drones see that the lines are too long, voters will be sent to other special polling stations with vans and taxis ready to transport them. And 4 polling stations will be set up at Israel's Ben Gurion International Airport for the first time ever for Israeli citizens flying back to the country on Election Day in order to cast their vote. Election Day in Israel is this coming Tuesday, March the 23rd. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Thursday, March the 18th at 7 o'clock, it's Talmud study. At 8, Knesset members Michal Kotler-Wunsch, Dov Lipman, Michael Oren, and Yehuda Glick discuss the challenges they face in Israeli society and in their leadership roles, and share their thoughts on the Jewish diaspora. At 9, Mark Golub sits down with Brooke Goldstein on L'chaim. At 10, journalist and podcaster Gilad Halpern moderates a discussion with Ksenia, Svetlova, and Mohammad Darawshe on efforts to create a political framework within Israel that will appeal to Jewish and Arab communities alike in a program of Partners for a Progressive Israel. And coming up next, it's the ILTV's Insider. And that's the JBS News Update for Thursday, March the 18th, 2021. I'm Teisha Bader. Stay healthy, stay well.